everyone. Welcome to our latest and greatest episode of Data Dialogues. I am your host, Larisa Bedgood. I am head of marketing at PGM. And with me today is my co host, Michelle Taves, who is VP and Group GM of our data marketing group. So, hello, Michelle.
Hello, excited to be here.
We have another fun one. We always do. We carefully curate these episodes to, elicit a few laughs from our audience, a light tie into data because that's what makes it fun. So for this one, we're talking about fascinating finds from people's yards. I can only imagine what this might be. But as we're recording this, in summer, it's already pretty darn hot. But for many of you who may not be in Florida, it's still trying to warm up. People are getting outside, cleaning up their yards, starting projects. And at PGM, we have just a wealth of data, not just on people, but what they're doing. And of course, being seasonal when it comes to the outdoors, we can tell you who loves maybe gardening, who's into outdoor living, campers, planning summer projects. So we have just a wealth of information on demographics on people. But when you think of all this other type of rich activity and hobbies and interests and lifestyles, chances are we probably have it. And it doesn't stop there. We also have a lot of data on browsing signals. So people may be browsing for tools or plants, outdoor upgrades, which is something I actually just recently did myself as I am working on my little patio garden. So with that, though, while today's stories might be about unexpected things found in backyards, the real question is, how do you know what's about to happen in them? So let's get into it.
So the first one is buried treasure. I love buried treasure. I've always wished that I would find something in a house that I bought. I, to this day, have not, but maybe one day. So this buried treasure is the stolen Ferrari in the backyard. All right. This one feels straight out of a movie. Don't know about you, Larissa, but back in 1978, kids in Los Angeles were digging in their yard, just playing around. It seems like a weird way of playing around, just digging in your yard, but we'll just go with it. And they hit something. Nope, not a rock, not a pipe, but they hit a car. They flagged down a sheriff who came back with the team and uncovered a buried Ferrari. The car that had been worth about $18,000 brand new, just sitting underground. Turns out it had been stolen years ago, and no one ever figured out how it ended up there. Eventually, it was sold off to a mechanic for $7,000, and he was able to restore it. But the real question is, who buries a Ferrari? Like, just think about that. You steal a Ferrari, right? You don't want to get caught. You think, yeah, I'm going to bury it in my backyard. Like, that seems to be the right thing
Well, when
to
you're in
do.
Los Angeles, I feel there's a lot of places to dump it in the water that would have been a little easier.
Right? I mean, like, can you imagine how hard it is? Like, now our audience can't see this picture, but this was a huge hole. Like,
Yes.
this isn't a small thing to bury, right? No, I'm going to go bury a car.
I think what's even funnier about this, or just as funny, is the point that you had made. Kids just, digging around in the yard, playing around. I mean,
And
you know
they're
what?
digging deep enough to find a car. Like, I don't know about you, but when my kids played in the backyard, they were never digging a shovel, like holes in my backyard.
Yeah, I would have had something to say if I noticed piles of dirt. All right. Well, I don't think I have a Ferrari in my backyard. I hopefully don't have this next one either in my backyard. So this one is 1,000-year-old human remains. So a 14-year-old was in Utah. He too was digging in his backyard. I don't know, but okay. This one, he was doing something. He was building a trout pond for his dad.
That at least makes sense. Got it.
That's better. Okay. So that was, for those who dig ponds, that's a pretty normal project until he hit something. At first, he thought it was just an animal bone or maybe a Ferrari, who knows? But the more he dug, the more he realized this was not an animal. About 6 feet below the surface, he uncovered human remains. The police were called in and quickly determined that the bones were actually well over 1,000 years old. They actually belonged to a Native American who had lived in the area long before modern settlement. And it turns out finds like this actually happen more than you'd think. People have, of course, been living on that land for well over 10,000 years. So I guess if you dig deep enough when you're building trout ponds or just playing in your yard, you might hit upon some human remains. So something to think about.
Well, and I even wonder, Larissa, like he started digging, thought he found something with animal bones. So then what possessed him to go dig more? Like I would be like, oh, there's a dead animal there. I would stop, right? Like, don't need to go and investigate. No, this kid, let's check this out, right? Like, let's just keep on digging. Like, I don't know. These kids are just different than my kids. Like,
Mine would have been like, whew, this is hot. And I don't know about this. I'm going to go in and play PlayStation.
Exactly. Like, okay, dead animal, no big deal. Okay, hidden fortune. Okay, now this would be great. Hidden fortune, 10 million in gold coins. So this one could be just such a really cool find. A couple in California, they were just about walking their dog and they spotted something buried near a tree. They dig it up. Okay, I just got to say, you're walking, you spot something, not your property, you're just going to dig it up. Just seems like weird, but okay.
You know,
they find over 1,400 golden coins dated all the way back to the late 1800s. The face value was $27,000, but the actual value was more than 10 million. Some of the coins were so rare, a single coin sold for over $1 million. No one ever proved where it came from, possibly stolen, possibly hidden and forgotten, but either way, it was a pretty great walk. Well, and you just got to think, Larissa, like, who is the owner of the property? What did they say about them digging on their property? It's really their coins, not yours. Like, there's just lots of things
true. That is, and we've done a couple of stories now where people have found like coins and gold in like attics and in houses they moved in. I mean, garage sales. I don't know. I need to go find some buried treasure. I'm gonna take a day off and go do that. Okay, more bones. So this one was mammoth bones in a backyard. So I actually kind of think this one is pretty cool. When I was young, one of the things I wanted to be was an archaeologist. So this is another family. I think the other one was in Iowa as well, and they were actually heading out to pick blackberries this time. But they came back with something a little bit bigger. This was a 4-foot long bone, which it actually turns out was a mammoth femur. And obviously, if there's a femur, there's probably more. So researchers came in, started digging, and they uncovered the remains from at least 3 woolly mammoths. So there are things like obviously bones, teeth, tusks, and it was just all buried right there on their property. So that must have been a fairly big property. And for these bones, they dated back probably 13 to 14,000 years ago.
That's pretty cool. Okay, danger below, World War II, explosive in the backyard. All right, this one's a little less fun, but a lot more intense. In Southern California, authorities made a discovery at an abandoned home that forced 75 to 100 people to evacuate. Buried in the backyard were World War II explosive, grenades, mortar rounds, artillery shells. Some were duds, but a lot of them were not. And the home belonged to the World War II veteran, but nobody knows how the explosives ended up there.
So sometimes I feel, we do use AI to write our scripts. Sometimes I feel like AI might take a few liberties because, like we know how they got there. It was the World War II veteran that buried them. So I don't know why it says no one knows how they got there.
Yeah, anyway, okay.
Move along. Let's see what the next find is. So this is a backyard discovery with a dark twist. All right, I don't know if I want to dig into this one,
Oh man.
but it starts hopeful and then it takes a little bit of a turn. So in Illinois, a man is out in his garden. He's picking broccoli when he finds a bag buried out in the ground. More cash, more coins, but this one was $150,000 in cash. He does the right thing and turns it over to authorities, and is told he can actually keep it if no one claims it. Unfortunately, or I guess fortunately, depending how you look at it, somebody does. His 87-year-old neighbor, who suffered from dementia, remembered and claims the money was hers and says she got rid of it because it was cursed. And then things get strange. She passes away before claiming it. The man who found it also passes away just days before receiving his share. So maybe the money was cursed.
I'm not sure what to say because it says she claims the money and then it says she passed away before claiming it. And so I'm confused.
This is not my strongest, script. Oh, I hope you're laughing with us and really enjoyed this episode because we are keeping this in.
Okay, let's try the next one, Larissa. Hidden treasure, the backyard safe that solved a mystery. So this one has a happy ending. That's great. A couple in Staten Island always noticed a piece of metal sticking out from under some trees in their yard. They assumed it was nothing until a landscaping crew took a closer look and realized that it was an old safe. Couple opened it up and found jewelry, dozens of rings, even diamonds. They also found a clue, a piece of paper with a neighbor's address. Ooh, do you go, do you not go? So they walked over and asked if anything had ever been stolen. And sure enough, the neighbor says their safe had been taken years earlier with about $52,000 worth of valuables inside. Without hesitation, the couple gives it all back because, as they put it, it wasn't even a question. That's awesome.
So this one was another massive find. In Southern California, a teenager was exploring a creek behind his home and he found something unusual. I'm already about to laugh because it's a fossil, not any fossil, but a half-ton whale fossil that was found in the creek. So I don't know how it got in the creek, but years later, experts confirm it's a baleen whale, which was around 16 to 17 million years old. Incredibly rare. There's only about 20 of these fossils that are known to exist. And the fossil itself was embedded in a 1,000-pound rock. So it took a full search and rescue team to lift it out. So that was another crazy backyard find. It's people are stumbling across a lot of bones out there.
Wow. Hidden below, a Cold War bomb shelter in the backyard. Those kids were digging again. The last one feels like stepping back in time. The homeowner in Tuscany gets a tip from a previous homeowner that there might be something buried in the yard. So he starts digging. At first, he finds absolutely nothing. Then finally, he hits metal, uncovers the entrance to a Cold War era bomb shelter built in 1961, complete with the spiral staircase leading down to a hidden underground room. It was completely sealed off like it had been forgotten for decades. At the time, there were nuclear missiles stationed outside the area. So this was truly more than just a project. It was a preparation. That's actually pretty cool. Like, if I can see when my kids were little, if they were digging in the backyard and they found something like that, that would be a really cool place for them to go play and hang out at.
Yes, that was my thought exactly. That is like the ultimate fort.
Right.
Like, I would like a fort like that today, like I'm just going to go down and hide out and bring my snacks and books and, I'll come out when I feel like it. Wow. Okay. That was crazy and fun. I hope you all enjoyed it. Again, as we're recording this, here we are heading into spring and summer. And I know for us in Florida, I'm seeing plenty of people outside gardening, working on their landscaping. And while we may not be able to tell you what's buried in your yard, you're going to have to go around with shovels to find out yourself. We can tell you, though, what people are doing, browsing for, and maybe getting ready to buy. And again, that's where our data, such as people factors, comes in. It is really a truly powerful data set, connected across people, their homes, behaviors, browsing signals, moving behavior, the full story of what a consumer may be doing and may be in market to buy. So you really have a better understanding of their behavior, can put together a really personalized outreach campaign and hopefully get them to convert. So with that, again, we hope you enjoyed our episode today. Stay curious, stay data driven, and we will see you all next time on Data Dialogues. Thanks all.